right, we are set and live. Okay, let's get cooking here.
I will share that with the team, Travis, and we can get rocking and rolling.
Okay. All right, so let's just make sure everything is good here. A little rusty on our podcast right now. Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Welcome back to the Think Tank live podcast. At FiNC, we streamline democracy so you can vote for you. It's time that democracy gets an upgrade. Before we get into today's conversation, let's ground this in what we're really building. Our long-term goal is digital democracy, the future home for digital politics, built and owned by citizens, not gatekeepers, not big tech, not political parties, not even FiNC. You, the citizen. Our role is to be the referee. We're not here to pick winners or control the system. We're here to make sure the rules stay fair, the playing field stays level, and no one captures it. A lot of the technology already exists. What's missing is public trust and citizen buy-in, and that's our job, to bring this into the mainstream and make sure it serves people, not power. That's why every week on this show, we'll break down what's happening in politics using a simple lens, up versus down, instead of just left versus right. Up means power first, down means people first. It's not about left, right, it's about representation. If you want to help shape what comes next, join the Digital Politics Hub, which launched this week, which it's where citizens can start plugging in trusted voices, amplify people first efforts, and co-build what comes next. You just go there at hub.futureis.org, and the hub is available now. Before we dive in, tap the heart, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. All that kind of stuff helps us out, so appreciate that. And there's also we have an event going on for Vote Nevada this weekend. So there's a link in bio for anyone that wants to subscribe and be part of the Zoom meeting there. It's they're going to be interviewing us. There'll be a reporter there, and then citizens are also going to be able to ask questions. So lots of stuff going on. All right, cool. So let's plug in.
Awesome. And as Travis, pulls up the hub, we've talked about the hub externally for weeks. If you've been a member of our live or our social media, you've heard about the hub, and we are so excited that it is live. It is accessible to you guys, and today we wanted to ensure that A, you guys knew it was live, and B, help walk through it, right? It's this new utility, this new tool, and we wanted to, walk hand in hand with you guys about what it is, the capabilities of it, and how you, as a regular citizen just like us, can start plugging in and changing the course of democracy today.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so this is a huge milestone for us. It's not the full dream of digital democracy quite yet. This is a huge stepping stone towards that. Before we could build like the whole encompassing one-stop shop for all politics, we need the people power. We need you to be in there. Mainly, like we're saying in the intro, that this can't be co-opted by big tech, by gatekeepers, by anyone else. We have to build this in a way that you are going to be in control of this as a citizen. Otherwise, it's just going to be an upgrade of the current broken system. We don't need a digital broken system. We need a digital democracy, a true democracy. So in a nutshell, this Digital Politics Hub is about helping with the coordination, joining yourself as a member, being a citizen architect, and help build the future of politics. We want your feedback, your priorities, what you guys care about is going to shape both our movement of movements as well as the tech itself. So you play a huge part of it. So we need you guys involved. So this hub basically helps you learn more about it, helps you spread the word on social media, tell friends and family, all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to go over a bit of a walkthrough on what this hub does and why it's beneficial to all of us and why it's such an important step forward to actually make a democracy that is truly representative of you as an average voter and citizen. Cool. So let me
Everyone, if you're watching live right now, go to the hub. It is live, it is accessible. Follow along with us. Again, that is hub.futureis.org. Come follow along. It's live. Check it out. And without any further ado, we're about to get into something we're so proud of and really excited to share with you guys.
Yep. Cool. So, and it's still just, this is like 1.0 version. We're still going to be constantly evolving it, adding more features. So this is just the first layer. We haven't even announced it like social media wide. We're just announcing it to our podcast followers, our newsletter people. So we're just this is kind of like a soft launch, and then in the next within about 1 to 2 weeks, we're going to do a bigger launch and make it a big deal all over social media and stuff. Still feel free to share it with friends and family and anyone you want, but then we're going to scale that up in the next couple weeks. So this is the hub. So it's there's just different options all around to help you as a citizen get acquainted. So starting from the top is just becoming a citizen architect. That's the first and also most important first step to do. Is going into that, and basically this is just putting your name in there. Just basically putting your name in support of this. We do ask a couple questions that helps us gauge people's like who's attracted to the hub, and some feedback that we get from the answers that you answer on there. So it's helpful for us for this information. It's typical basic information. Some of it's optional, but pretty much you fill this initial part out, and then there's a second step that gets a little bit more into the weeds of like what you think should be priorities politically, and what you think the biggest problems are, things like that. So first you could just fill it out like more briefly, and then there's more of a larger questionnaire to get your feedback and start seeing what most people want and where we should focus our priorities. And then just putting this on, this just makes you an official citizen architect. You'll start tracking, you'll start being able to submit your history. So it follows the actions you take and the impact that you're making with us as you as you do micro actions on this hub. It'll be there'll basically be a history, so you eventually can look at all the work that you've done and how you've helped promote democracy. And also to put your name, you'll be one of the first to be a future owner of the technology. That's part of this as well, is that you're going to actually own digital democracy once we can get that legal structure fleshed out. And just immediately you're gonna be somebody that just has a voice and has influence on the shaping of what we're doing here.
Absolutely. And putting your name down, filling out this short form for us begins to build that relationship between FiNC, between you, and what we're going to build, right? It's no longer this anonymous, you like something on Facebook, which is very powerful, but it begins to build that relationship between the general public and this public utility of the launchpad of digital democracy eventually. So it orients what the hub is, but it also you're submitting your name, like Travis said, to be a future owner, to say, hey, I believe in this mission and I want to help it grow. It just provides that extra layer of support. And, we're all about things not being complicated, not being spammy. Simply, we're asking for the basic information to say, hey, I believe in this mission, and for us to begin to work hand in hand with you to expand this into its full potential.
Yep. Cool. So in that section for now, it's just filling out that information. In the next couple weeks, when we get to the next upgrade, there'll be more information in there, just like really help people understand what the role is as a citizen architect. You'll be able to start tracking your own history. Like, we don't have a thing where you like log in per se on the hub, but you'll be able to get your history of like different micro actions and things that you've done. So that's building out in the next launch, I guess, in next coming weeks. So you'll see that the button will change slightly, but there'll be more involved in that section. So since you right now you just sign in the first time only once, but then there'll be more stuff in there later.
Yeah, and if I could geek out for a second, Travis, something that we've been talking about internally is gamification, right? So logging in and then making it, those dopamine hits of, I reached this level, I did these tasks, I accomplished something in the hub. All of that is on our brains. How do we keep this from being a boring site that you checked once and I guess I'm done with it? We are very invested and we want your inputs as you log onto the hub to make this engaging, fun, right? We talk all the time. Politics should not be a second job. And usually we talk about that in terms of the information and the BS you have to wade through. But gosh, not everything has to be so stuffy and dry, right? So that's why we engage in micro actions. That's why we want to build this with you. Because again, this isn't just this perfect box of let's fix democracy that we're giving to you. It is something that takes hard work and conversation and growth. But I just wanted to point out the gamification that is on our mind that will be part of the later iterations of this. That'll just make this hub so much more desirable and so much more engaging. So just know that that's on the horizon for us as well as you become a citizen architect.
Yep. Yeah. So there'll be a lot of things that we'll keep building on that of like tracking your progress, the impact you've made. There'll eventually be like possibly different kinds of prizes and stuff that we'll get down the line. So yeah, it'll be exciting the plan that we have in the next couple weeks to month or so. So next is the micro actions that at this stage that's probably the most important one right now, and so far, I guess it might be only certain demographics, but some people got really excited about this when we talked about it when we're on different podcasts. That really what it is a section of like certain content that just helps spread awareness of like what the current problem is in society and what needs to be fixed. What we talk about goes beyond party labels. We have everyone from regular Republicans, centrist Democrats, progressives, libertarians, anarchists, MAGA people. So our language and what we talk about as the problem goes beyond all party labels, all party beliefs. And that's so unique, obviously. Like this is the most divisive time in our country politically, and everything that we talk about does not split people up. So everything that we share here is not anything that somebody says, oh, you're on that side, you're on this side. Like no sides. This is about the people, about representation, about you being represented, all citizens being represented. So the content on here is, so basically it's just, it helps people understand these problems, what's going on in the world right now. And once we get this really get a flow going, basically we'd want people to check on this section at least weekly and see different content that exists. And then if you want to share certain content, you could choose which platform you want to share it on. So there, like for example, this one, there's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Each one that you click, it'll take you to that specific the content on that specific platform. So we know that everyone has the certain platforms that they favor, and that's fine. Like, so if you just like TikTok, then share just go through this and just share the TikTok version. And if you care about if you're on YouTube, then do the YouTube version. Do multiple ones, do one, whatever you're willing to do. But it really does make a difference. It helps spread awareness for the content the message that we're sharing here. And then ultimately it ends up, right now most of it's from us, but then some of it, like you see, Move to Amend is a different organization. That's right, we have it Partner Spotlight. It basically means that we didn't create the content, it's another organization. Again, always nonpartisan. It's all just about favoring citizens, getting money out of politics, creating more representation. So this is a key part of our mission at this stage, to just spread awareness, get the right people to know that we're doing what we're doing and how unique it is of what we're doing. And the majority of how we're doing that is through social media. So like, for example, when I was a guest on one of the podcasts recently, the executive director of Vote Nevada saw me on that podcast, then actually reached out to us. And then next thing you know, we're meeting with them and their members and a reporter. So like, all that happened through social media by content. So this really is a helpful way to do it. So this is always going to be updated with the most up to date information and content that we'd like to share, that can actually make an impact and move the needle forward, again, in a way that goes across all political beliefs.
Absolutely. And to me, the this opportunity to show and highlight the podcasts that Travis has been on, both has put our feet to the fire, right? Like Travis said, we've talked to MAGA people, Democrat people, socialists, libertarians, across the gamut. Our feet have been put to the fire, and gosh, we've gotten along with all of them. And that is because truly FiNC is on the side of representation, on the side of people, on gosh, democracy working for everybody. It's not about party labels. It's about, we're on the side of the people. We're on the side of, hey, there's so much rigged nonsense happening in the government that A, people might not know about, and B, gosh, feel empty-handed to fight. And we are saying, regardless of your political affiliations, you want to be represented. And the structure of civics today is often broken in realizing that goal. So, just a big shout out to the organizations and podcasts that have had Travis on, for providing that space for these conversations to happen. We're not here to get you to vote a certain way. We're here to say, well, gosh, if a bunch of people did these small micro actions all throughout, social media, coast to coast, what kind of power could we build that enhances representation? So that is what these micro actions are for. They're for you to take, 5-10 minutes out of your day and actually do something powerful with it. Whether that's listening to a podcast or doing some of the other micro actions that are on this page. Again, it's about building that relationship with small but meaningful power and effort.
Yep. So micro actions, there'll be other types of micro actions as we go. This is specifically called the signal boost of micro actions, where you're boosting like a signal of grassroots efforts like ourselves and the allies we've built. So this is important, and keep tabs on this section. Then you go further, and then below that is FiNC in the media. This is also this actually shows you all the episodes that we've been on, good or bad, which I'd say 90% of them were very good, and some were like neutrally bad. None were horrible. Everyone supports us to some extent, but they're all in there, and so you can scroll down there. It's both like support the podcaster that hosted us, and also just liking that episode that we were on is really helpful. And then also just listening, because it's it's a neutral party. They're not here to just fluff us up. Their alliances, they're to their own show and their own beliefs. And they sometimes ask really hard questions, and so you'll see how we answer all the questions that are asked. So this is going to be a forever growing list of just all the episodes of where we've been on. Right now it's mostly podcasts, but eventually it'll be like, as we show in journal, like get interviewed by journalists, and just any time we appear in any form of media, we're gonna have it here as another piece here. So it both helps you learn more about the mission, but then also can like and share that as well, because that's also going to help spread the message. But yeah, so that's the whole micro actions section. We have this hamburger menu at the top here, but I'm gonna just keep going back to our home screen. They match. It's the same information. But next is share your story. It's still about a week away. We're still working on it. It's very simple on our end, but we just gotta finish launching it. But basically, this section is going to be where you can share your own pain points. Like, we're going to give you different questions that you could potentially answer. You just pick like which question you're answering. So it could be like, when did you first realize the system was broken? It could be, what is your greatest fear based on the current political climate? Or like, what is the biggest issue you feel today that you want to address? So just different ways to like really share your story, share your feedback, share your pain points. And then as you submit that, we'll start showcasing that in different places, both here as well as like creating different social media content with these like kind of testimonials or stories. So really basically it's to amplify your story, amplify your feedback, your pain points, and make sure you're heard in a way that you're not right now. So that's coming in the next week, about a week. So that's going to be also a good place to get involved.
Absolutely. For me, the share the story is the most human part of the hub right now. It's not just about elevating FiNC and elevating the podcast and elevating organizations. If that was if those were the only players in the game, we wouldn't be providing a hub. We wouldn't be live and sharing this information with you. So many people across political boundaries and political parties say, well, gosh, I do all the right things as a voter, but why is the system still broken? We want to hear those stories. We want to know what matters to you. Yes, your party alliance shapes some of your political frustrations, but gosh, deep down, when you look at the complete spectrum of political parties, we all are saying the same things. And that is part of what this section of the story is. Representation sucks. A lot of structures of civics sucks. And my ability to vote how I want to, rather than just pick from the lesser two evils and hold my nose at the ballot, gosh, that's not really the story of democracy in America right now. So that is what this section is. It is your opportunity to let us know your personal pain points, your progression as a voter, things like that. And so, we're really excited for this to launch in the next week or so. And please engage with us. We know that the basis of this hub is always the stories and pain points of regular folks like you and I.
Cool. Yep. So then the next one, so plug in a journalist, movement, or politician. So this is like the plug in trusted voices section. So this is about building out like a lot of the other side parts of it is about spreading awareness for citizens and just gaining raw citizen support, people power, which is the most important. We want like just a lot of numbers of citizens involved in this, getting your voice plugged in, plug you into this, which ultimately will plug you into a better democracy. So that's most tasks. But this section is really to connect our meta movement with influencers, candidates, grassroots movements, organizations, journalists, like just anyone that has a stake in politics and they're not part of the status quo and they're actually looking for a genuine improvements and better representation for people. So like we don't want to just be like, oh, we're gonna just list people that we like. We want you to share who you like and who you trust. So if you have a journalist you trust, a movement you trust, candidates, we want to hear that, and we and start like tracking that and start building lists of people that we could get in touch with and build out this meta movement. Real quick, just the idea of meta movement. So we're building a movement of movements. That's what meta movement is about. And the idea is like, we're not just a movement. We're not just starting a movement from scratch. There's already wonderful movements that already exist that want money out of politics, want third parties, they want ranked choice voting. There's a lot of wonderful movements that are trying to move the needle forward, and we just want to build a connective tissue and a shared infrastructure around all these different movements. So that's what makes it a meta movement. Is it's a movement of movements. It's also it takes it to a higher dimensional layer. There's a lot to explain. It's kind of abstract. We've explained it in the past, but bottom line is like we want to plug into existing movements and existing efforts. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. There's already civic technologies being built. There's movements trying to make reforms. So we just want to build an umbrella, because the one thing that everyone is missing is it's fragmented. Movements work individually, a lot of times against one another. We want to build overarching infrastructure and say, hey, you might disagree on different policies and different stances on issues, but let's share the same infrastructure. Let's move the same needle forward. Let's build the same train, different carts, but same train track, so it could actually catch up to the establishment of the Democrats and Republicans, or else none of us are ever going to win. And so this is kind of the way for you to start plugging some of those people in and help us build that.
Absolutely. And this networking opportunity that this provides, it's warm contacts, right? You already believe in the organization. We are building a platform to amplify organizations, right? So you are the linchpin that connects those two, right? You trust them, they know you, you know us. So it provides warm conversations that are all about amplifying the good work that's already going out there. You guys are out living your lives, trusting these organizations. We're asking you to plug those names into here so that we can help boost them on this shared stage.
Yep. And to clarify, like, you don't even necessarily have to have a direct relationship with them. They don't necessarily need to know you. There's an option here. It asks if you have a relationship with them. Are you affiliated with them? So it could be anything from like, I work or volunteer there. It could be you're a host or a candidate, or you could just be not affiliated at all. You're just a fan and follower of them. So to be clear, you don't even need they don't necessarily have to know you. Most people that are going to recommend people are not going to know the organization. But the biggest thing is we want to know, like, once you really understand what we're trying to achieve, we want your feedback of, like, if you know a journalist that would like what we're doing, we would love to hear about it. So this allows you to fill that kind of stuff out. There's a good amount of questions here, but a lot of them is optional. You don't have to answer everything. And most important is just knowing that we would just want to see people recommending certain people. And then this also builds a tally. There might be like several citizens recommending the same person, like, oh yeah, we really need to get in touch with that person. And then also there'll be follow-up ways that we can engage with you to help get in touch with them. If you are willing, we could help you send like a draft email to them saying, hey, like basically telling them that they should work with us, and that you're a follower of them and you're a follower of us, and that we should get connected ourselves. And so you recommending us to them and them to us would help build that relationship and start really interconnecting different movements and stuff. Because again, like, what we're doing is very outside the box. It's highly unique, and we're doing it strictly like from the perspective of the citizen, and just tons of people power. It's just a very unique strategy. So the more that citizens are encouraging this, it significantly will help, build that relationship and really get them to open their mind and be open to this new way of, like, let's work together across different political beliefs and not be so, siloed and divided in so many ways. So this is there to always keep in mind anytime you're like, oh, I know, like you're watching, you might be watching a journalist and like, oh, that's actually, they would love FiNC. And, so you hop on here, fill out the information, and start getting us connected. So it's definitely this is key to, like, build our connections to other movements, journalists, podcasters, all that good stuff.
100%. And before we move on to the next section, Travis, I was going to reset the room. So let me get into that. So welcome. We're live right now on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. This is the Think Tank Live. And at Think Tank Live, we use the digital politics lens, upserving versus downserving, instead of simply just left and right. And that helps us unpack the system and identify concentrations of power in politics. So at FiNC, we're a civic utility, and we plug in citizens and trusted voices into the hub that is now live, where we can start building our overall goal of digital democracy, which will be the future home for America's politics. And I'm going to put it on the screen, but it's now, our hub is now live. So head on over and like we're going over here, plug into being a citizen architect, plug in some names if you know them, and keep watching as we continue to explore the hub. And with that, let's talk about the next section.
Yeah, I'm sharing it on Facebook, our Facebook here too. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, check this out. This everyone's able to access the hub as of this week. I think I'm sharing. I'm still learning the Facebook side of what we're doing here. Cool. So yep. So the next section is so kind of tied into like plugging in these journalists and others is the DP aligned voices. So this is still we haven't finished putting the list here yet, but basically it's like once we do build that relationship with people, this is gonna be where we list those people. So we have like Rob Rush as a candidate running in as an independent in Georgia, Money Out of Politics org. So just only a couple at this moment, but like in the next week or two, we just have to fill it out. We have like at least like 10, 15 different podcasts that are podcasters. We have different reform movements that we'll put on here. And the idea is to keep growing it, you know, tied to that previous section. You know, anyone like the more we could add more journalists and movements and just everybody, just want to interconnect everyone, plug everyone into democracy. So that you could actually be represented and not just have this concentration of power as it stands today. So this helps you see, like, you know, again, right now it's small, but like as we fill this out, you can be like, oh, I want to find journalists that I like, that I want to learn, I want to watch journalists that FiNC recommends or FiNC shows that are aligned at least to some extent. They're not like fully like vetted per se, but the idea is like they're all groups that have aligned with us to some extent. They're showing that they want, like they want a more representative democracy. They want to be more, they have a more objective lens. You know, a lot of them, they're still going to be partisan. There'll be left-leaning people, right-leaning people, third-party people. So we're not necessarily endorsing like the policy stances that these people share, but all of them in some form or the other, they acknowledge the core problem that the system is rigged, that both the leaders on both parties are rigging the system. We don't really get to choose our own candidates too well. It's really kind of shoved, stacked against us, that the Democrats and the Republicans stack the cards against the average voter. They know who they want to elect. They make it seem like we have a choice, but ultimately our only choice is the lesser two evils at the end, to vote establishment Democrat or establishment Republican, but they get to choose who that Democrat is and who that Republican is for the most part. And we want to change that because the structure is there to fix it. It's just we're manipulated into these false choices. So yeah, so this will get updated pretty soon as well. We have the list. We just have to implement it here, but just know that this is there, the DP aligned voices. And so that'll be a growing section in itself. Again, tied to that last section.
Right. I would say DP aligned voices is a predecessor to eventually we'll have these report cards, right? So these trusted voices, who are they? What are they? What are they doing? So this is aggregating, collecting all of those names so that as we build these very fun but effective tools like the report cards, this is why we are reaching out to you, the general public. You guys know, who believes in democracy, who is fighting the good fight, and we're asking for your collective kind of a hive mind. Let us know who those people are, so we can continue to build this list so that when we do switch to digital democracy, right, we have all the names and we have a good list of trusted, valued voices that are working towards representation.
Yeah. So generally, just like a lot of these groups would end up, they either might just be just supporters of us, but a lot of them we actually want to build this with us. There's going to be so many features with digital democracy. There'll be like a home for independent journalists, so we want a lot of journalists' feedback to build that home for them. Right now they get demonetized and they get quieted basically when they're on YouTube and other platforms. So we want to build a platform where their voice is not curbed and they have freedom to speak their mind. So there's different sections like that. The report cards, there's a lot of sections that will directly help these people, and so we want them to build it with us, and that's the key, both them and with citizens. So this is definitely an important section. And then getting to the end here. So this is also very, very helpful for people. A lot of people have been asking for this. Our resources section. So in a long-term digital democracy, the ultimate goal is that you're able to in one place, like pull up your zip code, see all the candidates running, who's funding their campaign, what money what industry the money is coming from, like are they doing insider trading. We're going to streamline all that as the long-term goal. But until we can get to that long-term goal, we're providing resources of like all that information is public knowledge. It's just separate. It's in separate locations. So like Ballotpedia has a lot of details about specific elections and politicians. Open Secrets is we've been talking about them for years. That Open Secrets is key. That has all state and federal representatives and who funds what their campaigns and that stuff. It's not super user friendly. That's why we want to implement it into digital democracy. But in the meantime, if you wanted to check out a candidate and their fundraising and who's funding their campaign and stuff, this is where you go until we have digital democracies, the Open Secrets. So there's others like Track APAC. Trustworthy Media helps you connect, like find different media, like independent media sources. Unusual Whales is there for to show you insider trading. They try to track who's doing insider trading in Washington and build like scoring systems that show you like how bad it is of what they're doing. So this will be an ever-growing list as well. So in a nutshell, it's just like just resources to help you better make a choice of who you want to support, who you want to vote for by looking at this. Because it's really like, follow the money. If you want to know if you could trust a candidate, if they're up serving or down serving, just follow the money. If you care about like healthcare, then don't vote for somebody that takes millions of dollars from, big pharma and private insurance and things like that. And they'll be like, we're going to help you understand this more and more. Right now we just got the resources up, but we're working on a checklist that like you could go step by step and check out like information about a candidate and kind of do your own like little mini research to find out their information. So that's what this is for. But again, the goal is to have digital democracy and streamline all of it and automate all of it into one user-friendly system, so you don't have to do all that work, but for now you do.
Absolutely. And part of the reasoning behind this page, these organizations, these movements, these groups, their goal, right, is so important, right? Track spending, track legislation, track this, track that. They have enough on their plate getting people to visit their site, getting support, getting that amplification. We are helping them do that. Ballotpedia, that's probably pretty well known, but Track APAC, Open Secrets, those things, like Travis has been saying, are more fragmented, more buried in the universe of the internet. And so by providing this universal hub of resources for people, we help that information reach you faster, right? So they don't have to advertise as much. You don't have to go scouring the ends of the earth on the internet. It is here for you and it'll become easier every single iteration of the hub until digital democracy is provided. But it's that bridge between citizen and the people doing the good work.
Yep. Cool. Yep, so that's that. And then last but certainly not least is the learn more section. There's going to be 3 sections soon. Right now there's just the main one is the first one, which is the main one, which is seeing in DP, digital politics. So the learn more in general the learn more section in general is really to show you, like, kind of just get you to the basics of what we're talking about, like what the problem is that we're solving. Lack of representation, gatekeeping by both parties, money in politics influence, media bias. So this section gives you more details of that information, help you really grasp what we're talking about as the problem. So right now, the only one that's set up and ready is the digital politics section. So there's just different breakdowns of like what some of the key problems are, and just gives you some different pieces of like how to see how to look at things a little differently. Like we always say, we're not telling like Republicans to be Democrats, or Democrats Republicans, or third parties to be this or that. No, we're not trying to change anyone's political viewpoint. We're trying to zoom out, expand it, that there's a larger lens, as we call it, digital politics lens. And it's really looking at the civic infrastructure, like how do we do elections? How does a politician need a campaign in order to have a voice? How does a citizen need to spend their time to know who they should vote for? All that is civics. It's the processes of how we do politics. And that's what's broken right now. It's like, because it's so hard to know who to vote for, and because we're so stuck in the lesser of two evils, like that's why, people just vote. They're going to always vote D down the line right now, or always just vote R down the line. And we need to break that habit. It needs to be more involved than that, but also easier than it is today. Right now, to be more involved than that is hard. And so we're trying to simplify that. So the DP lens, digital politics, is to see things again as up versus down, up serving candidates versus down serving candidates. The up serving candidates are the ones that they serve power, they serve the money that they're getting. They are beholden to those that give them the most money. They're the ones that hold their hand and to rise to power as other, like, those in power to help rise them into power. We're down serving candidates. They're the grassroots candidates. They're the ones that want the small dollar donations. They want to move away from big donors because that's a conflict of interest. They actually want to represent you, and they want to build people support, which is what it should be all the time. Like, you want to gain popularity by the voters so they vote for you, rather than, like, right now the system is I go to a big donor and he basically buys people's influence, and then because I'm the only candidate on the Democrat side that you even know about, because now I have millions of dollars to spend, that's the only reason you're voting for that person, rather than the person that actually earns your vote and wants to represent you and wants to do a good job in office. So that's the distinguishment we want people to understand. So if you're still like, I'm going to vote left, well, that's fine, but add up versus down. Is this candidate up and left, or are they down and left? And we want you to vote like somebody that's down and left. We don't care left or right, we care down. We want you to be grassroots candidates, ones that are not beholden to big donors, that are not helping the influence of a small concentration of power. And so this helps you understand all that and break some of that stuff down, some key principles in here. So we definitely encourage you to spend some time in here. This is a very important section. It'll be even more important as we build it out. There's going to be a lot of stuff here on learning more about what we're doing. And then down here, the dig deeper, I know it kind of looks ugly right now, but it takes you to different clips of us explaining digital politics, explaining the core issue that's going on. So this, still has some work to do, but these are all important content that can help you understand the issue and learn how to be how to make a better voting decision for yourself. It's time that you vote for you and not just vote for what the establishment tells you to vote for, or voting for the lesser two evils.
Absolutely. And this section to me, right, if you talk about micro actions, joining, becoming a citizen architect, those are all kind of the trees, right? Those individual things that you can do. I would say this section zooms out, lets you see the forest, see the bigger picture, and be able to connect all of those trees together to make this bigger picture of representation. And before we keep going on, I'm going to reset the room. And so, welcome to Think Tank Live. We are live right now on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And like Travis just said, at FiNC and with you guys on the hub, we are saying it's not as simple as just left versus right. That is not the real divide. It is about power. It is about people who serve power, money, donors, upserving, or people who serve the people, grassroots, and actual representation, downserving. And that is what this app, this hub, helps us to accomplish. So the hub is live now, everybody. So that's so exciting. Feel free to go over to it. It is hub.futureis.org. Go on it, sign to become a citizen architect, and help us build what comes next. And with that, I'm ready to talk about the next section.
Cool. Yep. So so this is the main learn more that's done. But then check it out regularly. Probably within the next 1 to 2 weeks, we'll have the other learn more sections. We're trying to figure out how to word this one, but the coordination section, that's really about like what this moment is now, like why we're even having this episode about all this, like what is so important about the hub, why we need citizens to be involved. So that's like this coordination stage, this awareness stage that we're in right now. So that's going to be live within like the next 1 to 2 weeks. So that'll be an important one. And then, of course, digital democracy itself, the end game of what we're building. So there'll be more information there soon of just understanding the core vision that we have of like politician report cards and a home for independent media, and a way for movements to get connected with each other, and just building this digital connective tissue that plugs everyone into one democracy for America, so we could actually be represented in a fair way, building a level playing field and shared infrastructure that all of us could share, regardless of whether you have big donors to raise millions of dollars, or you're a small time candidate trying to get started from the beginning, or you're just a voter. So that'll be here as well, and eventually we'll keep building. There'll be a whole plethora of learn more stuff here, because this is all about like teaching this new lens, this new way to look at things that's way less divisive. It goes across the parts of the political beliefs. Like we said, we have so many people across the aisle, from like Republican, Democrat, socialists, anarchists, MAGA, like everyone. We're proving more and more that this what we're doing, the language we're speaking, the lens we're building, it speaks to most Americans. And who doesn't want to be represented, who doesn't feel like they're being represented. That's why we're in this disaster of a political state we're in right now. Whether you are Democrat or Republican, and it's not even about specifically this current administration right now, but like the system is just getting worse and worse, and it's almost inevitable that this is what happens, that we're going all these new wars and just all this shit going down, and like nothing's gonna fix that by sticking to like, oh, I just need to help the Democrats beat the Republicans. No, we need bigger change than that. And it's like we want, and maybe it stays two-party, but we want better candidates, better Democrats, better Republicans. Maybe third parties don't win, or maybe they do win eventually. Maybe it takes decades, who knows? Like, but what we're building, it allows any of those situations to be possible. If it's going to stay two-party, that's fine. We just need stronger primaries to build better candidates. If it does go third party, that's okay too. We're going to have different infrastructure and ways to make it not confusing or overwhelming. And so no matter what direction politics evolves into organically, this infrastructure will be able to adapt to it and make it a lot more easier for the average American to understand what's going on and navigate it for themselves.
So well said, Travis. I have a final 2 points. My first point is this hub is meant for you, your grandma, your best friend, your neighbor, everybody. If you or you know someone who has said, gosh, I wish I could just be part of something that is making a better future. Gosh, I don't have a politics degree, but I know the system's broken. This hub, this mission is for you. This opportunity is for you to get in on the ground floor, to be part of the first pioneers, I guess, of the hub, of building this movement with us. And that ties into my second point. The hub, the growth of the hub to get to digital democracy, which is, like Travis said, the end game, it no longer is limited by the speed of FiNC. It is now FiNC hand in hand with trusted citizens, trusted voices like you, like the politicians, journalists, and orgs that you believe in. So we can go at light speed now, and really what is vital to that speed is the small actions, the small micro actions, the sharing on social media, becoming a citizen architect. Many people doing these small actions, gosh, that is a tidal wave of change. And so I just invite everyone to really check out the hub, become a citizen architect. Again, that is hub.futureis.org. And gosh, let's build this together, everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, great point on what you're saying there. That now that we've gotten to this stage and we're handing you guys the tools to do this with us, what Liz just said is phenomenal. Of like, now we could grow it to the speed of the people and the speed of digital age, and now it's all about you guys, the people power. This can happen. This can grow so quickly if we can get the right people or enough people involved. It'll grow, literally grow exponentially. The earlier stages are harder, but once we get into like tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, it'll grow so quickly. And ultimately we want some of digital democracy to be ready by the midterms, which is not too far away now. It is possible for us to have politician report cards at the federal and state level by these midterms, but only if we could get enough people power involved. Get you guys being involved, putting your name on the hub, spreading the message, sharing the socials, donating if you can. It is essential to just getting this initial stage of just spreading the word, telling a friend, telling family, everything that we pretty much talked about today. This can change the system. This can bring true representation to the forefront. Again, like just the fact that this goes beyond all political lenses, that Democrats, Republicans, third party, independent, everyone can resonate with this mission and feel involved and feel hopeful by what we're doing, that alone speaks volumes. And that once we get enough attention, like this is newsworthy in itself, that like we're building this mission that goes across the political divides, it goes across any arguments that are going on right now. And like who doesn't want representation? Who doesn't want money out of politics? Who wouldn't want to get rid of insider trading and congressmen making millions of dollars on the stock market? 85-90% of Americans want all these things. And so we have an answer, we have a vision, we have a path, and we just can't walk it alone. We need you guys involved in it. So to wrap it up, so again, yeah, hub.futureis.org. That's what this is. Again, tell people it's still getting ironed out. This is again like not even version 1, it'd be like 0.9 version. So we're still tightening it up, but then we're gonna keep building it and building it and building it. And so we could eventually have the people power to move into the full digital democracy mode. So check this out. And then yeah, keep checking it out regularly, so you see all the updates. Literally week by week, you'll see more features, more improvements, more information on there. help it grow, help us grow, share our socials, help us with the podcasts. So we're here every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We're gonna, in this coming couple of weeks or month or two, we're gonna start having guests on our show and like expanding our podcast in a lot of different ways, and other team members being involved. So the podcast is going to be growing as well. And like I said earlier, there's the Vote Nevada. We're doing a Vote Nevada meeting this Saturday. All of you are invited. Click the link in our bio on our socials to access it. But it gives you could put your name for registration. It's gonna be like a big Zoom call. Where Vote Nevada is going to interview us, and then there'll be room for citizens to ask questions, and again there'll be a reporter there. So we're very excited to do that. And yeah, that should be everything. Anything I missed, Liz, that we should cover before we wrap up?
Nope, just go onto the hub, everyone, and we hope to see you this Saturday at Vote Nevada. That should be really exciting. But nope, I think you did a great job, Travis.
Cool. All right, so thank you guys all for being here and checking the hub out with us. Make sure you bookmark it and whatnot, and visit it frequently. But yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you next time, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.